to my live, and I'm excited to hear any feedback during this live or after. I'm gonna post this live to my YouTube channel, so this will be recorded, and let's get started. So here today I will use, I'll just introduce you. I will use today Tarot of Oppositions. I will use these fairy tale cards to make like a kind of playful story. There's ending cards, there's feeling cards, there's the 3 piles, and the 3 piles are, I'm going to introduce now immediately to you to choose. I will add also timestamps, so you can go into timestamp to your reading directly while I now have this intro. So root chakra and King of Cups is pile number 1. Pile number 2 is 10 of Cups and third eye crystal, Grey Aventurine. This was Jasper, red Jasper. Then third pile is Sacral Chakra, Carnelian, and 4 of Wands. This is your picture. So make your decision, and yes, here will be some karma cards, fairy tales. I will read most likely a lot directly from the book because I already looked into the fairy tales, so I'm able to tell them to you. They are not so long, so I might read all of them directly from the book. Anyway, you have this, Grimm's fairy tales. Then you have karma cards, an angel message, and I might bring in today also the Herpar Astrology Oracle live because I couldn't find the booklet of this angel cards. Anyway, let's get started. I don't see anybody here yet, but it doesn't matter. I'm used to do this anyway alone, so if there's anybody coming here, it's just nice to have a live interaction. So we take this first here. And actually, I will put in the meanwhile this here. Yes. Because I start your reading pile number 1. So we have now currently a waning gibbous moon phase, 82% of moon. And what was it? Yeah, this is connected, that's what I was thinking. This is connected to mother and victim. This root chakra archetype. So full moon is usually mother. After that, when the moon goes forward, it goes to the crone. So it's still 82% full if you see the full moon currently. This card I have in my readings connected to the Persephone story. It's this kind of high priestess style woman, Persephone, is married to Hades, and the mother Demeter wants to kind of rescue her from the underworld. First, she doesn't know where she has gone, but Zeus have promised her to Hades, and then eventually Hecate, Dark Goddess, is helping the mother to find her back. But there is this kind of dual thing with this Persephone story that she's doomed to be living in the underworld half of the year, and then the spring comes, she gets back. So this is kind of, I connect how you call it, elderberry, and I think it's like elderberry here also, I mean in my mind, and I connect that to the Persephone, and in the autumn the elderberry makes this dark berries also, and in the spring this kind of white flowers. You can make a nice juice out of these flowers. Anyway, this is my reflection of this card first. Then I want to start immediately, before we look into fairy tale, I want to just freely reflect some storytelling cards. You can play with me, this can be like a warm up. What you see, this is pile number 1. So, what kind of fairy tale cards we get? cave, thief, and ugly. Okay, it's kind of similar what I was just talking about, like the beautiful maiden is married to a devil, kind of going to the underworld. But anything to do with this root chakra, it's kind of going roots underneath as well. And moon is even this kind of very feminine power that is kind of dark. So going to dark places doesn't have to be negative. It's very healthy to acknowledge those dark parts in ourselves, and the hidden, possibly underneath the ground. Here the cave. The cave can be connected also to a heart. There's a lot of power in our heart. If we put a fire in the cave, it's kind of like we put the fire in our heart. So we have to go deep enough to find our purpose of life and all this kind of, like the body is the shadow. We access our soul through our shadow, and our body is the shadow. So just think about going deep into how you feel in the body. Moon is all about emotions. Moon is all about feelings. And yes. So thief, this was also kind of the devil is having this pride stole in the underworld. And then ugly, yeah, things can be ugly when you're in the dark places, but you need to put light there. I'm gonna get this lamp here. Doesn't show now the light, but anyway. Okay, let's see what is the ending card. Just fast to this first little story. And true love had broken the enchantment. Beautiful, indeed. There is this kind of saying like, when you heal your heart, you can access the place that is unheard when you go deep enough. So true love, that is also possibly very deep, hidden sometime. Yeah. Superficial is not true love. So that's the kind of good thing about that, all darkness. That when you go to dark waters, it actually makes your relationship deeper. You ask deeper questions. It also makes you access true love better. Not the superficial, how are you today? But like something more deeper you could ask about. Okay, let's see. That is a feeling card now. How your person currently is feeling about you, because let's bring this love reading now to the next level. This is true love and your true love feelings. And I still didn't read your fairy tale. We'll go into that. I just want to go like this now. About match made in heaven. 100% yes. Action now or never. Intention. Dream relationship. Feeling aligned. Beautiful. And divine timing. Trusting divine. Present moment is perfect. Feeling impatient. But patience as virtue. Yes, also moon cycles is 28 days. Moon can teach you patience, but it's very feminine energy, while masculine is this kind of daily sunny force, shooting the arrows, let's say, every day. But the feminine is kind of bending the arrow, like then like there is this kind of tension. Okay, let's see the fairy tale now. Then we see other cards too when we start. Tumtum's Troubles. So that's your fairy tale, because I'm gonna read. And then planet, what is great this reading is a moon. Yes, this is also here. Moon energy. Moon energy, let me see. Moon is also about shapeshifter, habits and responses we have emotions, ever-changing moods. Can be emotional, high tide, low tide. Here we have, like I took this note here about what is all mean. This is SMP. S is spiritual. What is best for the nurturing of your soul? M is mental. What is best for the nurturing of your intellect? And P is physical. What is best for nurturing your bodily needs? So let's see. Here we have spiritual is to defend. Mental, what is best is accept. And physical is let your feelings tell you how to. Beautiful. Very, very much like being in your feelings, going into the deep of the cave of the heart and all kind of bodily feelings to let yourself love in all your being. Yes. You get consideration. The moon. Yeah. It's almost like some monsters showing up in the moonlight. Something like werewolf stories, kind of shapeshifter. Anyway, this is kind of shape-shifting too, because it's like a bride in the underworld and bride back in our world. So it's kind of shape-shifting from darkness to light. But there is true love. But there is enchantment in that duality, that ugly and beautiful. Yeah, there is enchantment there. True love breaks the enchantment. And now we read about, I think I will leave you this angel card as a surprise for now on. So I start reading about them, because we have still the tarot cards. We have still all the tarot cards. We put these things aside, because there's no space for everything. I just gonna have this showing. Let's put this here and this here. And okay, maybe we can put this here. I have to look how this goes all. And the moon. And Tump. Thump. Sorry about my English pronunciation. Have you ever heard about that story? So, story time. There was once a poor countryman who used to sit in the chimney corner all evening and poke the fire, while his wife sat at her spinning wheel. And he used to say, "How dull is it without any children about us? Our house is so quiet, and other people's houses so noisy and merry." "Yes," answered his wife, and sighed. "If he could only have one, and that one ever so little, no bigger than bigger than my thumb, how happy I should be. It would indeed be having our heart's desire." Now it happened that after a while the woman had a child who was perfect in all his limbs, but no bigger than a thumb. Then the parents said, "He is just what we wished for, and we will love him very much." And they named him according to his stature, Tom Thumb. Like this. And though they gave him plenty of nourishment, he grew no bigger, but remained exactly the same size as when he was first born. And he had very good faculties and was very quick and prudent, so that all he did prospered. One day his father made ready to go into the forest to cut wood, and he said, as if to himself, "Now I wish there was someone to bring the cart to meet me." "Oh, father," cried Tom Tump. I'm going to show my Tump every time he's saying something. "I can bring the cart. Let me alone for that, and I'm in proper time too." Then the father laughed and said, "How will you manage that? You are much too little to hold the reins." "That has nothing to do with it, father. While my mother goes on with her spinning, I will sit in the sit in the horse's ear and tell him where to go. Well, answered the father, we will try it for once. When it was time to set off, the mother went on spinning after setting Tom Thumb in the horse's ear, and so he drove off, crying, "Gee up, gee-woo!" So the horse went on quite as if his master were driving him, and drew the wagon along the right road on the wood. Now it happened, just as they turned a corner, and the little fellow was calling out, "Gee up!" that two strange men passed by. "Look," said one of them, "how is this? There goes a wagon, and the driver is calling to the horse, and yet he is nowhere to be seen." "Is it very strange?" said the other. "We will follow the wagon and see where it belongs." And the wagon went right through the wood up to the place where the wood had been hewed. When Tom Thumb caught sight of his father, he cried out, "Look, father, here I am with the wagon now, take me down." The father held the horse with his left hand, and with the right he lifted down his little son out of the horse's ear, and Tom Thumb sat down on a stump, quite happy and content. When the two strangers saw him, they were struck dumb with wonder. At last one of them, taking the other side, said to him, "Look here, the little chap would make our fortune if we were to show him in the town for money. Suppose we buy him." So they went up to the woodcutter and said, "Sell the little man to us, we will take care he shall come to no harm." "No," answered the father, "he is the apple of my eye, and not for all the money in the world would I sell him." But Tom Thumb, when he heard what was going on, climbed up by his father's coattails, and perching himself on his shoulder, he whispered in his ear, "Father, you might as well let me go. I will soon come back again." Then the father gave him up to the two men for a large piece of money. They asked him where he would like to sit. "Oh, put me on the brim of your hat," said he. "There I can walk about and view the country, and be in no danger of falling off." So they did as he wished, and then Tom Thumb had taken leave of his father. They set off all together, and they travelled on until it grew dusk, and the little fellow asked to be set down a little while for a change, and after some difficulty they consented. So, and then there is happening all this thing. Okay, let's make it a little bit shorter. He's getting away from these fellows by hiding in the mouse hole. They run up and felt about with their stick in the mouse hole, but in vain. Tom Thumb crept further and further, and eastward growing dark, they had to make the best of their way home, full of vexation and with empty purses. When Tom Thumb found they were gone, he crept out of his hiding place underground. "It is dangerous work groping about these holes in the darkness," said he. "I might easily break my neck." By good fortune he came upon an empty snail shell. "That's all right," said he. "Now I can get safely through the night," and he settled himself down in it. Before he had time to get to sleep, he heard two men pass by, and one was saying to the other, "How can we manage to get hold on the rich person's gold and silver?" "I can tell you how," cried Tom Thumb. "How is it?" said one of the thieves, quite frightened. "I hear someone speak." So they stood still and listened, and Tom Thumb spoke again. "Take me with you. I will show you how to do it." "Where are you then?" asked they. "Look about on the ground and notice where the voice comes from," answered he. At least they found him and lifted him up. "You little elf," said they, "how can you help us?" "Look here," answered he. "I can easily creep between the iron bars of the person's room and hand out to you whatever you would like to have." "Very well," said they. "We will try what you can do." So when they came to Parsona's house, Tom Thumb crept into the room, but cried out with all his might, "Will you have all this that is here?" So the thieves were terrified and said, "Do speak more softly, let anyone should be awaked." But Tom Thumb made as if he did not hear them and cried out again, "What would you like? Will you have all that is here?" So that the cook, who was sleeping in a room hard by, heard it and raised herself in a bed and listened. The thieves, however, in the fear of being discovered, had run back part of the way, but they took courage again, thinking that it was only a jest of the little fellows. So they came back and whispered to him to be serious and to hand them out something. Then Tom Thumb called out once more as loud as he could, "Oh yes, I will give it to you, all you, and only put out your hands." Then the listening maid heard him distinctly that time and jumped out of bed and burst open the door. The thieves ran off as if the wild huntsmen were behind them, but the maid, as she could see nothing, went to fetch a light, and when she came back with one, Tom Thumb had taken himself off without being seen by her into the barn, and the maid, when she had looked in every hole and corner and found nothing, went back to bed at last and thought that she must have been dreaming with her eyes and ears open. Anyway, what happens is kind of like a making tricks here. I was reading this first and I was like, is this like, this Steve story here? Like, is this actually this little Tom Thumb now like a honest person, or what is going here? But he's actually sleeping. And then he wakes up to the fact that he's been eaten by a cow. So he's in this haystack and the cow is eating him. And he ends up to the belly of the cow, unfortunately. So he starts crying. He said, "Oh dear," cried he, "how is that I have got into the mill?" But he soon found out where he was, and he had to be very careful not to get between the cow's teeth, and at last he had to descend into the cow's stomach. "The windows were forgotten when this little room was built," said he, "and the sunshine cannot get in. There is no light to be had." His quarters were in every way unpleasant to him. And what? Somebody is looking. This is a Tom Thumb story. I'm reading it from the book. So nice to have somebody here listening. But anyway, I continue. So the dwarf's new hay was constantly coming in, and the space was being filled up. At last he cried out in the extremity as loud as he could. And I'm always showing Thumb when he's speaking, because he's a Tom Thumb. "No more hay for me! No more hay for me!" The maid was then milking the cow, and as she heard a voice but could not see one, and as it was the same voice that she had heard in the night, she was so frightened that she fell off her stool and spilled the milk. Then she ran in great haste to her master, crying, "Oh, master dear, the cow spoke." "You must be crazy," answered her master, and he went himself to the cow house to see what was the matter. No sooner had he put his feet inside the door than Tom Thumb cried out again, "No more hay for me! No more hay for me!" Then the parson himself was frightened, supposing that a bad spirit had entered into the cow, and he ordered her to be put to the death. So she was killed. But the stomach where Tom Thumb was laying was thrown upon a dunghill. Tom Thumb had great trouble to work his way out of it, and he had just made a space big enough for his head to go through when a new misfortune happened. A hungry wolf ran up and swallowed the whole stomach at one gulp. But Tom Thumb did not lose courage. "Perhaps," thought he, "the wolf will listen to reason," and he cried out from the inside of the wolf, "My dear wolf, I can tell you where to get splendid meal." "Where is it to be had?" asked the wolf. "In such and such house, and you must creep through the drain, and there you will find cakes and bacon and broth, as much as you can eat." And he described to him his father's house. The wolf needed not to be told twice. He squeezed himself through the drain in the night and feasted in the storeroom to his heart's content. When at least he was satisfied, he wanted to go again away. But he had become so big that the creep the same way back was impossible. This Tom Tom Thumb had reckoned upon, and began to make a terrible din inside the wolf, crying and calling as loud as he could. "Will you be quiet?" said the wolf. "You will wake up the folks up." "Look here," cried the little man. "You are very well satisfied, and now I will do something for my own enjoyment," and began again to make all the noise he could. At last the father and mother were awakened, and they ran to the room door and peeped through the chink, and then they saw a wolf in occupation. They ran, fetched weapons, the man an axe, and the wife's syt. The man, the axe, and the wife the skit. Sirppi in Finnish. "Stay behind," said the man as they entered the room. "When I have given him a blow, and it does not seem to have killed him, then you must cut at him with your syt." Then Tom heard his father's voice and cried, "Dear father, I am here in the wolf's inside." Then the father called out full of joy, "Thank heaven that we have found our dear child," and told his wife to keep the syt out of the way, lest Tom Thumb should be hurt with it. Then he drew near and struck the wolf such a blow on the head that he fell down dead, and then he fetched a knife and pair of scissors, slit it up the wolf's body, and let out the little fellow. "Oh, what anxiety we have felt about you," said the father. "Yes, father, I have seen a good deal of the world, and I am very glad to breathe fresh air again." "And where have you been all this time?" asked his father. "Oh, I have been in a mouse hole and a snail shell, in a cow's stomach and a wolf's inside. Now I think I will stay at home." "And we will be not part with you for all the kingdoms of the world," cried the parents, as they kissed and hugged their dear little Tom Thumb. And they gave him something to eat and drink and a new suit of clothes, and his old ones were soiled with trouble. Okay, very interesting story of the Tom Thumb. If you hang out until now, let's see, there is anyway true love to be found if you hang out enough time doing something. So looks like, let's see now the angel, and then we look at the tarot cards. So angel of this reading is Crossroads. Indeed, I have not that book now to read this stuff, but I can just say that indeed this is some kind of story with the troubles. So looks like the way of Tom Thumb was leading him home. He had to be getting quite trouble before. When you are out and about in the world, the safe and security, like this root chakra, can be a little bit away, like you have to manage on your own, and things can be a bit hard. So I mean, don't become a victim. And then in this story, of course, the parents are there, but if you are adult, you have to kind of self-parent in some point to really be like a independent person. As this Tom Thumb actually returned home, he was so small, he couldn't kind of handle the life well on his own. There was always something that he needed protection. Maybe you also have been looking protection in different ways and had troubles. Anyway, let's see this is a love reading. This is a love reading. We had already true love mentioned here. So let's take your cards. Card number 1. What is the true love message for you? This is eventually a love reading. Is there more coming? Let's put this here. There's some crossroad in your love life, possibly. So, okay, I think these 3 cards actually are doing well. First one, King of Wands, beautiful king. This is very active, positive king. Passionate, often artistic also. Kind of, Tom Thumb was quite creative, going and kind of self-confident also what he was doing. Like how it was starting, he was like able to even whisper to the ear of the horse to get it moving. Like it's kind of like a creative style. This king, this would be anyway fire sign. this love reading, if you want to know a person who would be this king. Could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo. What is it? Other fire signs. I am like forgetting this. Is it Sagittarius is a fire? Yes. This could be even Sagittarius style with the arrow. Anyway, let's see. And this is a good king. This is not on the dark side. So there is some good king possibly in your life who is very, very creative. And then Page of Pentacles. Okay. This person is wanting to invest to the relationship. Having this book in the hand, there is like kind of very, Page is always kind of child, teenager energy, but this one is very focused on this pentacle and seeing a lot of value here. So it's kind of seeing in you a lot of value. But it's kind of interesting, like the tom-tom was kind of kept in the hand of them because it's small. It's like kind of like you have this relationship in the palm of your hand possibly, and you're like looking at it like, what is here? What is in my hand? Is it gold? What is it? Yeah, what is it? Root chakra, safe and security. Okay, then moon. How beautiful is this that the things repeat here? Here we have the moon energy and here again. And that's also a positive moon, as I see. Yeah, this would be the hungry one. This is a positive, so there is an emotional balance in this relationship. It's really nice to have a dog also here. Cool. Nice. I feel this is very positive for your love life, this Tom-Tom story. Maybe there are lessons to be learned, all those travels you did or life you have lived. And this cave here is kind of meaningful, that he ended up in this belly of the cow or belly of the wolf, but he was having courage. Things can get ugly. They were thieves, but he was kind of showing to them the value system he had. That he was kind of, even he was kind of trickster, kind of. He was, anyway, wanting to get the thieves caught also. Okay, so now, as we cannot very, like I read about the crossroad, promise that I will give you another oracle card live. Maybe it's even more creative in that sense, because you will see how I do it live. Even though every card I take like randomly, but now we will see. Let's use this big stone. And after that, your stone. So pile number one. I've been busy quite long already. This is your advice. Pau d'Arco 7, Metamorphosis. Interesting. There is this feminine energy again, talking about cycles and the moon cycles. There's something there of being a mother. This is also, moon energy is always fertile. So this could be something very fitting to the moon also. Let's see. Discovery through darkness, transcendence of the known, unearthing fear, non-conformity, breaking cycles. And the astrological ruler of this would be Moon and Pluto. So totally in line with this darkness and ugly, because Pluto can be very ugly energy also. We are currently having a Pluto in Capricorn. Can be very facing your shadows, your darkest shadows can be this kind of period. So if you have any crossroad in your life, it might be coming out of that kind of thing. The light is shining to your problems that you have to solve. You have to find a way. Pau d'Arco, commonly known as Tahejo or Lapacha, is one of the most beautiful trees on earth. With over 100 varieties, this tree has been used medicinally among many tribal peoples throughout Central and South America. Most commonly, the inner lining of the bark was boiled for a long period of time, then consumed as a dark coffee like tea. Pau d'Arco has many medicinal qualities that fall under the moon and Pluto's domination, such as being a blood tonic and a daily tonic for strength, and also being employed for digestive imbalances, menstrual irregularities, malaria, anemia, colds, flus, fungal infection, respiratory problem, arthritis, cancer, and a lot more. In the Incas and other groups predating them were known to use Pau d'Arco as a panacea. Tribes living thousands of miles apart have employed it for the same medicinal purpose for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Many tribes use its wood to make hunting bows. Here we have a bow. Utensils and all sorts of tools, believing that it provided great blessings of strength and resilience. So then guidance. Lapacho is one of the great protection of the sacred, and she is welcoming you in. Archetypally, Pau d'Arco embodies one of the faces of the dark goddess in her mighty splendor. The dark goddess is multifaceted, challenging belief systems, frailties, weaknesses, and testing our strength. Like Pluto, Lapacho demands you rebel against the ignorance of the old self and learned paradigms that inhibit the splendor of your self-expression. Her mighty darkness provides the tools to rebuild ourselves anew, triggering instant metamorphosis. Don't fear the unknown nature of mystery. The cosmic womb in its darkness births all hidden potentials into existence. Trust and step in, you are being guided. Very beautiful. I have really things that repeat here. The feminine is present here as a moon. There's this masculine forces coming as a King of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. So the feminine is coming here like a faithful, fidel dog. And its moon card is usually also a wolf. Wolf is kind of the she-wolf, like Roman stories also with the two twins. So I mean, I connect this really that this is the feminine in this. And this is the feminine, of course, here as well. And then here we have another king. This is King of Cups, actually. So there is very loving fire and water related masculine energy. Okay, Pentacle 2. It's like investment that they say you see you as like, imagine this is like investment, but then you are actually the shining moon goddess, dark goddess, intuitive goddess. Yes, you are this and you are this if you're feminine, and the masculine is taking action. And this feminine indeed is Persephone, that is married to a devil possibly, but she chooses the devil too. She wants to go deep. What I've heard is not that she's a victim, like here would be the modern victim. No, she also accepted to stay there, even though there's this story that she ended up eating pomegranate, and that's why she was kind of doomed to live in the underground half year, so she cannot leave. But yeah, we have the feminine also here. So we have these masculine cards here and the feminine here and the moon also. So true love had broken the enchantment. There is a lot about that here. Yeah, and the angel is this pot call. I have not that book now, unfortunately, but you can always Google that yourself, possibly. Anyway, end your reading here, pile number 1. I hope you liked it. If so, you can always leave me a comment. And actually, I'm very glad that I couldn't find this angel book, because now I had this card. This is a very beautiful message here about the dark goddess that is also visible here. Okay, a little bit masks here, maybe because the nature of moon is always mysterious. So feminine is kind of like a little bit hidden in the dark, but there is a beauty in the dark. And divine timing, like spring comes back also. Okay, let's put this aside. This goes back here. And mix this. I don't see anybody live here. I mean, my channel is having like 37 followers, so I didn't expect people to notice me either. because this is not on my own Facebook page. This like a profile, it's in the Facebook page. So if you follow my Facebook, you will notice next time I'm coming in Facebook Live, of course. It's a good thing to follow as well. It's good to subscribe. The same thing, you notice when I publish a new video. Let's put these cards also. Let's go back here to wait the revelations, and this goes back here. I find interesting this Tom Tom story. So we go to the pile number 2. Ah yes, let's take these cards away. Here was still, yeah, defend, accept, let your feelings tell you how to. What's the pile number 1? And this way. Lovers had a crossroads situation, possibly. Decisions we make in the crossroads usually change, and so on. So how did I start the last time? I will take this card here, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So I start first talking about this. This is third eye crystal. So it's intuition is here, and intuition comes from your heart, and the mind connection is not just being intellect. You can cultivate intuition with intellect reading, but you have to have a life experience. You cannot just live in the library. You have to like go out in the world and have real life experience to connect the dots. Or I don't know, but you have to have a real life experience and live in this world. Make your story yours. And the intuition can be voice of your mother as well. It can be that kind of sensitive, gentle voice. And intuition usually whisper, and it's not shouting. Shouting is what the ego does. And it's critical and so on. But this is gentle usually. 10 of Cups. I'm really curious to see if you have chosen this, because this is usually the happy couple and a marriage. This is the wish fulfillment, like this is the union of hearts. The classic tarot, there's always 2 kids. I mean, this is kind of classic family with a rainbow over them, and they have a happy home and family life. So this is really where the journey of the cups is leading, and you follow your heart, kind of finding your way back home, your true home or soul family, possibly even. Now let's see first storytelling cards. I have also time limit. I can be until 7 o'clock max. And this is for the pile number 2 still. Let's have a little bigger crystal. Let's see what happens here now when I take this. Okay, a lot of cards came. Okay, you have a big story coming on. Okay, let's then still take this. Again, a little bit here. What is your happy story? Okay. So we have here a bird. Bird is also usually something to do with intuition. It's a beautiful spiritual animal, actually. Soul, possibly. This is saying when you die, you become a bird or something like that. Then something is revealed. Empty card. This means that you totally have your power to make your story yours. Like, I'm only giving you elements here, but you have something that only you can tell, your destiny. Like, you have the keys to your own destiny. Like, I can only reveal something, and the bird can also chirp something in your ear, something to notice your third eye, but it's you. underneath the third eye is even this emptiness. So it's you who have the keys to your own happiness. I cannot see that. What is that? That is like almost like it's hidden for a reason, because it's still have not decided. It's still not there. It's tabula rasa. Your love life is a tabula rasa. You know it. Who knows when? Let's see. Sword. Sword is usually words even. There is some. Can be also the King Arthur's Excalibur. That only the true king can raise the sword. And the Lady of the Lake is giving it to him, if this will be the Lady of the Lake. But anyway. So chosen person can use the sword wisely. Wield it wisely. It's all about sword energy, because it can hurt you if you don't. Then there is a queen in this story. Okay, it's the queen using the sword. And then there's a death. Something needs to die or change to another. Okay, sword and a queen, and that is... What is this? That is usually transformation, but here is really like a rest in peace. This is memory of somebody you loved. Something is revealed. Okay, what is the ending of the story? This is a very playful story anyway. Talking about the death. That is, I already said like a death would be like somebody die and they become a bird. She always worried to help remind her what she was wearing. A knife? What you can wear? Is there something in this picture? A shield. She's holding a shield. She always worried to help remind her. A crown, of course. I mean, that's the typical queen. You hold your head up and you have a crown to notice that you are princess or queen. You are the royal person. You have your like honor. It's kind of like yeah. There is this bird here. Lovebirds is also something. A death. Okay. Anyway, this is coming here. There's also this beautiful woman here. Now we reveal the feelings of your person before we go into the fairy tale. What is the fairy tale? You can think what this bird could be. This is feelings of your person. Love potion. Magical. Intoxicating. Chemistry. So what is it? Sexuality, hard alchemy, flowing feelings, bottled feelings, elixir, spirit, pleasure, love bond. And cloud 9. Extremely happy, adventure, the fool, satisfaction, head over heels, freedom, euphoria, spring in the air, expansion, nirvana, deep feelings, opening heart. And this cloud 9 has come from the thing that exists, this kind of biggest thundercloud. Cumulus nimbus was invented this term cloud 9 in September 1896. Anyway, there is some kind of bottle. It's almost like you open the bottle and there comes this kind of like a spirit, like wow, whoa, like this love potion. And that's revealed. There is this. But it's very mysterious because it's all white. It's almost like this white cloud comes to you. Like you have to only use your intuition to get through that white cloud to your person. And there is a bird giving you advice, possibly the intuition kind of thing, like where to go. But there's somewhere like a death looming. So you have to be careful. The fairy tale. Let's go into the fairy tale. The golden goose. So another bird. And I start reading that for you. I don't have endless time. Where did I put my little book? I cannot cut this recording. Where did I put it? Here. So I have had this golden goose before. It's not very long story, but I try to make it shorter because I don't have endless time and my memory of the phone might also finish in some point. So here was once a man who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was called the simpleton and was despised, laughed at, and neglected on every occasion. It happened one day that the eldest son wished to go into the forest to cut wood, and before he went his mother gave him a delicious pancake and a flask of wine, that he might not suffer from hunger or thirst. When he came into the forest, a little old grey man met him, who wished him good day, and said, "Give me a bit of cake out of your pocket, and let me have a drink of your wine. I am so hungry and thirsty." But the prudent youth answered, "Give you my cake and my wine? I haven't got any. Be off with you." And leaving the little man standing there, he went off. Then he began to fell a tree, but he had not been in it long before he made a wrong stroke, and the hatchet hit him in the arm, so that he was obliged to go home and get it bound up. That was what came of the little grey man. So anyway, afterwards the second son is sent to the woods to cut the wood. Same thing happens. Little old grey man met him also and begged for a little bit of cake and a drink of wine. But the second son spoke out plainly, saying, "What I give you I lose myself, so be off with you." And leaving the little man standing there, he went off. The punishment followed. As he was chopping away at the tree, he hit himself in the leg so severely that he had to be carried home. Then said the simpleton, "Father, let me go for once into the forest to cut food." And the father answered, "Your brothers were hurt themselves by doing so. Give it up. You understand nothing about it." But the simpleton went on begging so long that the father said at last, "Well, be off with you. You will only learn by experience." Exactly. This experience is very needed to activate this third eye. So don't underestimate your experience. Only learn by experience. And the mother gave a little bit less food to him. He was okay with that, as he was simple. And then the old man is asking him also. When he came into the forest, the little old grey man met him and greeted him, saying, "Give me a bit of your cake and a drink from your flask. I'm so hungry and thirsty." And the simpleton answered, "I have only a flour and water cake and sour beer, but if that is good enough for you, let us sit down together and eat." Then they sat down, and as the simpleton took out the flour and water cake, it became a rich pancake, and his sour beer became good wine. Then they ate and drank, and afterwards the little man said, "As you have such a kind heart, and share what you have so willingly, I will bestow good luck upon you. Yonder stands an old tree, cut it down, and as its roots you will find something." And thereupon the little man took his departure. The simpleton went there and hewed away the tree, and when it fell he saw, sitting among the roots, a goose with feathers of pure gold. He lifted it out and took it with him to an inn where he intended to stay the night. But what happens then? I'm going to cut it a bit shorter. Everybody is kind of starting to wanting to have what he has. It's like, I want this too, because it's gold. And then they get touched to that feather, and they try to steal the feather from the bird. They get touched to it, and then they try to warn other ones to touch it, and then also they get touched. And eventually everybody's following this simpleton, and he's kind of like so simple, he doesn't notice even that. And then there's all this huge amount of people walking behind him, attached to that golden goose. And eventually, by and by, they come to the town where King reigned, who had an only daughter who was so serious that no one could make her laugh. Therefore the king had given out that Whoever should make her laugh should have her in marriage. The simpleton, when he heard this, went with the goose and his hangers on into the presence of the king's daughter, and as soon as she saw the 7 people following always on one another, she burst out laughing and seemed as if she could never stop, and so the simpleton earned the right to her as a bride. But the king did not like him for a son-in-law and made all kinds of objections, and said he must first bring a man who could drink up a whole cellar of wine. So he go back to the forest. He go to his old friend, the old great man, and ask help. What do they say? Simpleton asked him, what was it? Yes, thought that the little grey man would be able to help him, and went out to the forest, and there, on the very spot where he felled the tree, he saw a man sitting with a very sad countenance. The simpleton asked him what was the matter, and he answered, I have a great thirst, which I cannot quench. Cold water does not agree with me. I have indeed drunk up whole cask of wine, but what good is a drop like that? Then said the simpleton, I can help you, only come with me, and you shall have enough. He took him straight to the king's cellar, and the man sat himself down before the big vats, and drank, and before the day was over he had drunk up the whole cellar full. The simpleton again asked for his bride, but the king was annoyed that a fresh fellow called the simpleton by everybody should carry off his daughter, and so he made new conditions. He was to produce a man who could eat up a mountain of bread. Okay, he go back to the forest, find the old man, who is happy to help and would go to eat the bread. And then he is eating. And then the man of the forest settled himself down before and hastened to eat, and in one day the whole mountain had disappeared of bread. And again he asked the third time the daughter, and king, however, found one more excuse and said he must have ship that should be able to sail on land and on water. So soon, said he, as you come sailing along with, you shall have my daughter for your wife. I mean, talking about this marriage story here. How much he has to do to get that happening. The simpleton went straight to the forest, and there sat the little old grey man with whom he had shared his cake. And he said, I have eaten for you, and I have drunk for you. I will also give you the ship, and all because you were kind to me at first. Then he gave him the ship that could sail on land and on water, and when the king saw it, he knew he could no longer withhold his daughter. The marriage took place immediately, and at his death of the king, the simpleton possessed the kingdom and lived long and happily with his wife. Okay, interestingly, there is this death. Now it becomes the death of the king, because the man was able to get on the throne with the queen, and all this happiness happening. Cool. Anyway, there's a lot of blank in the story, in the sense that you have to like fill the blanks. Let's say, what is the story for you? Now we see what planet is coming for you. You have a Venus. Beautiful. Venus is a Libra energy also, like a ruling planet of Libra, and Taurus as well. So definitely this abundance and the beautiful grace and beauty is coming here. So that's the way to go always, to have a happy life. Here we have, this is like, what was that? I took the notes about them. This is first is like a spiritual answer. What is best for the nurturing of your soul? And that would be Sherry's. We're talking about your love life, of course. It's a love reading. Then, what is the best for the nurturing of your intellect? And is enjoy. To just enjoy the journey. Like the simpleton was also like carrying on and just like living the life. Not caring about other people, what they're thinking. Even the point that people were just following him and his golden goose. And then physical, what is the best for nurturing your bodily needs? And that's charm, art, and beauty are the way too. Beautiful. Yes. And obviously good heart, because it was coming out with the old man. being kind to the elder, giving them a seat in the bus or train or something also. It's good manners. It's good to have a good manners always. Beautiful, this Venus. You have really goddess of love here. Let's see the tarot cards. So we are putting this here now to you to reflect. And we have so many cards here. Let's put this book here. I'm gonna take you. I mentioned it earlier that I couldn't find a booklet for these angel cards. We're gonna see soon. But for that reason, I'm gonna pull you advice from the herbal astrology. It fits well here. So now I look at tarot cards. File number 2. File number 2. Oh, this one. Okay, let's put this third eye chakra also. File number 2. This. So, okay, here is King of Swords. Somebody very wise about the words. Very wise and knowledgeable person. King, true king here. Sword and sword. King of Swords. Nice. Wow, Emperor. Oh, I get really like a feeling here, like wow. A lot of positive masculine energy here. Knight of Swords, another knight with a sword, communicating. Always remember, Emperor, these are all positive now. Even Emperor is always having all the kings inside, so it's an archetype of a masculine energy. You have that too in the middle. It's almost like this father figure here. And this is talking about the action that the Sun is taking. Then we have this Three of Swords. That's usually a heartbreak. So there is something about it, but that's on the positive side eventually. It's not that crying person. So it's almost telling about that woman, that princess, kind of noticing and laughing about that, having a laugh kind of with a simple tone and all, but you still have to wait before the father approves. It's kind of like the patience is tested here. I'm gonna read from this booklet because you have a Venus here and it's close to the Venus even. There is like Queen and this and then the Venus here. So this is some kind of like feminine energy here. Then we have Seven of Swords, which is usually betrayal, but that's also a positive of it. So very much short energy, very much mental, and you should focus on the thinking patterns. What's happening in your relationship in a sense of what words are being used, said, and clearly the love language in your relationship possible is also Libra related. Beautiful words of affirmation is your love language. But we are aiming for the marriage. It has to be this kind of connection with the words that speak to you, to your heart, from your heart, the mental. Let's see this Three of Swords because that was not so clear. Anyway, the simpleton won over. He was a kind-hearted man, taking action. Also, interestingly, this is the same suit, so there is this sun on the shoulder, sun on the moon. Sword energy here. Pile number 2. This one I have to see. I'm not so noticing. Positive. You will face difficult times and painful trials that will shape you like a smith shapes a sword. Interestingly, the sword is also here. Purify yourself. Strengthen yourself emotionally and be virtuous, clear without poisonous intentions. At the end of the darkest night, the light that warms the hearts of the righteous awaits you. Be worthy of it. It's talking about really this kind of hero. Simpleton was the hero eventually, so really doing this virtuous things. Then we have the Seven of Swords, but a good one, which is positive. The time is favorable for escaping unwelcome situations and releasing those grievances that keep you from growing. You can take care of you and let the difficulties resolve a little at a time. Even in relationships, you can break away from crutches and reframe everything for the better. It's almost like the story, like a beliefs coming here clear, like what is actually the stories you tell, what kind of stories you want to tell in your relationship. Draw clear boundaries about that. What is that you entertain? All this is so positive. Like I can Knight of Swords I could just read because this is so clear. This is like such a this kind of good king here. Knight of Swords. Maybe you wanna hear all these things, but it's very masculine energy. Can be also air signs influencing. This is in Aries, but this is also air sign. Positive. Your ventures and intentions will succeed. The only danger, admittedly minor, is excess power. Having too much enthusiasm and dynamism will serve to overcome the most difficult tests, but could lead you to forget prudence. Use all your skills in pursuit of the good. Then we have King of Swords. I'm gonna read this still because it's nice to have these king stories. Intellect, charisma, and authority are sharp skills you know how to wield very effectively. Decrease the influence of emotion and do not become a tyrant. Your noble nature ensures success, alliances, positive changes, and vital dynamics. Refrain from using any kind of force or violence. Let others do the actual fighting. And let me read you still the Emperor, because really such a positive masculine energy here, even though the Queen is here, the female are here also. And this old man was revealing all this kind of stuff also. So, Emperor. Those who govern well know that responsibilities, burdens, and of course rewards and honors must be shared. You should accept this as right and good. Measure your actions and do not overrule, even when those you manage may deserve blame and harshness. Practice rightness in speech. Reward those who deserve it and warn of what awaits those who challenge your authority. Positive. Your life has reached a point at which material prosperity can be combined with family and work. Your empire is firm and lasting if governed with virtue, justice, and the duty to care for the less fortunate. You are able to use the proper amount of force, but only when necessary and with those who do not want to listen to the voice of truth. Yeah, always, actually, I forgot to even say it, Libra energy as well, Justice card in the Tarot as well. It's truth. It's a voice of truth, the sword. We have it here, but interestingly, you have really this in the love related that you have this tabula rasa. You can still make your own story. This is guiding cards for you. Let's see the angel here. Transformation, Rachiel. That's in the cards. Connected to that death card. It's always a transformation. I'm taking you now a guiding card from the herbal astrology. So we see, where is this herbal cards here? So, herbal astrology, this one for you. Rosemary, ancient memory. 3 is a goddess number always. It's It's beautiful to have this feminine energy here now, because it was a lot of masculine. We have also the feminine present for the advice. Ancient memory. Remembrance, ancient memory, multidimensional sight, recollection, commitment, loyalty to a vision. Rosemary has been used medicinally dating back to the ancient Greeks and Romans in 500 BC. Dried sprigs of rosemary even showed up in Egyptian tombs as early as 3000 before Christ. I have to keep it here to shake this light. The ancients were well acquainted with this hardy scrub, which had a reputation for strengthening the mind and memory. Very good to do with the third eye. It became the symbol for fidelity for new lovers during wedding ceremonies and was used in religious rites and at funerals. During weddings, it was entwined in the wreath worn by the bride and dipped in scented water to bless the union as a symbol of the sacred moment and eternal loyalty. Beautiful, because this is totally the marriage card. We are talking about marriage here, so you have some connection, love life that is possible, very positive for long-term commitment. Even the kings are here, queen, all positive. To bless that. Even today, rosemary is used to improve memory. Legend has it that the Virgin Mary, mother of Jesus, as she fled from Egypt, sheltered next to a rosemary bush. She drew her cape onto the bush and the white flowers turned blue. Since then, this precious herb has been called the Rose of Mary. Wow! It's like, you hear this herb all the time, like a rosemary, and then actually it's like a Rose of Mary. And what is beautiful about that is actually such a beautiful, because I have been like really into the blue flowers, and there is this saying like blue roses doesn't exist. It's like imagine it if like a cannot blue rose doesn't exist. But what is the color here of the rosemary bush? At least here it says like white flowers turned blue. Is it true that the rosemary's flowers are blue? If so, that is the blue rose. And blue is such a psychic color. If you have ever this kind of experience of having third eye open, I have had this kind of colors coming that is very blue indigo moment, or this kind of violet, kind of bluish. So there you go. You could use this herb possibly. Guidance. Ruled by both Mercury, the planet of mind, and the Sun, the planet representative of our base ego and super ego, rosemary embodies this holy connection. The mind of the ego to the superego, the higher mind. This card signifies past feelings and emotions are resurfacing from deep within. You may find yourself remembering and accessing ancestral memory that resides within your DNA. Rosemary assists us in healing through multidimensional sight, reminding us to use the power of vision to see beyond the contracts of everyday life. Don't dissociate or get consumed by the veil that broadcasts emotional imbalance. Call upon rosemary as a guiding light to see beyond the veil of confusion and stay committed to the vision that moves you. Wow, it's very beautiful, this message here about ancient memory. Everything very much about mental here also. Expressing yourself, something is revealed. Power of the rosemary. Yes, but this, you have power within yourself that I don't even know, and it's even coming top of the Emperor, so it's clearly sign like that, some kind of white light coming, white cloud. Okay, let's end your reading here. Let's go to the next. I have not endless time, so I have to speed up. I don't see people live here really. Doesn't matter, like I this is the first time I try this. Would have been nice to see people here, but if not, then not. Not everything is interesting, maybe what I say. But if you like my readings, I would be love to hearing any comment in the YouTube, because this video will end up in the YouTube as well. So here are the feelings cards. We put this back here. Let's mix it for the third pile. Okay, and then we have this. So we go to the next pile, number 3. What is there for you? Okay, here. The last one, let's put this here a little bit. And this one here. And now we take this. Ah, this is missing. Okay. Welcome to your reading, pile number 3. You have selected where this card went. I put it away for some reason. This one card here. This was your card. 4 of Wands. So that's usually a community victory, kind of in the sense like people celebrating. It's also like a manifestation card. I was very glad to see all of these first cards, because they had all very loving, family-related meaning in the base cards. So 111 of this kind of 4 of Wands is usually said to be even a manifestation card, having all the aces within it. So that's why manifestation, like all the aces are on the table. Let's see if that happens in your reading, but this is very positive for love life. Some celebration is coming. Today is 1st of December, so maybe there is some little Christmas parties coming. And then we have here Emperor and Empress. So that's also beautiful. It's like the having pleasure doing something, sexuality, creativity, and then don't fall to be a martyr and people pleaser. Like that would knock you from your blessings to too much think other people. So the true kingdom is like protected with queen and king in their powers. They have to be on their throne, not to be knocked off from there and become servants, or like a lesson themselves. Beautiful, these colors are kind of matching. Now I'm putting this to your deck, and we start with the storytelling cards. This is a fun little game. I really love it. I didn't tell in the intro, but this is something, just if you are here, I want to share. Like I'm soon going to one movie group meetup, and I played in one movie last April, and this film is coming out in the end of January. That will be totally manifestation moment for me. I will be this real actress. I have one of the main role there. So yeah, I will tell about it a bit later more, but I will soon go to this movie meeting after I've done this reading. So I'm kind of very merry and happy today because of this. It's like a manifestation moment for me to know more about. I have not seen the film yet. I will also see it in the end of January when it comes out in the Ostend Film Festival. Anyway, happy about that. And I use my second name in the movie. I'm called Karina in the movie. So I'm not Silva. Anybody see that? And it's not real story. It's a scripted. But anyway, I will be Karina in a movie screen. Now let's see your fairy tale cards. This animal can talk. Beautiful rabbit, very intuitive. Love to see kind of spirit animal popping up. Rabbit is always like connected to Empress. Parent, character. cook. So happy. The people fall in love. Beautiful. And far away. And what is ending of this little fairy tale? So the village was restored to prosperity. Everything started talking about what you dream of to the little rabbit. That is your intuition. Or listening to your intuition, actually. There's something to do with the parent, cook, happy, people fall in love. Okay. Often the truth is, if you're happy yourself, then you like attract the mirror to that energy. So focusing on the like how you say, like self-help, like your own happiness. It's good to start for finding the true love then, because you have something to give when you give it to yourself first. But this is interesting. It's kind of looking back. Okay, so let's see what else I'm going to show you. Yeah, the feelings of your person. The feeling of your person. Let's put this crystal here. Pile number 3. This feeling of your person. This feeling of the person is I am, tiny seed of I am, aware of being as ever-present fact, into self-awareness, and blessings flow, grow into the center of love in action. Restore the prosperity. There's something growing up within yourself. Maybe it started this rabbit thing. Almost like it's like Alice in the Wonderland stories. There's a lot beautiful thing deep down. It's not visible on the surface. Surface just showing this rabbit that comes to the Alice to tell, like, follow me. And then innocent, pure heart, healing light, naive, childlike, trusting, meaning well. Yeah, it's kind of the Alice story. She's meaning well. Happy inner child. Yeah. Yeah, but the inner child is safe. It can play. So it's like good if you can give that to yourself, to make clear boundaries, that you can have that safe space to and let your inner child come out kind of creatively. It's connected to creativity, of course. So let's reveal your fairy tale. Part number 3. Your fairy tale is the robber bridegroom. I had that before. I already forgot that I usually look always the fairy tales before the reading, but I already forgot this. So this is actually quite gloomy story. Whatever is it for you? It's definitely something to not be so innocent. And there's a cook in the story also, even though they are cannibals. And there is a parent in the story, in the sense that they are marrying the daughter to this robber bridegroom, who is not good. Let me read this story. I would say this is a little warning immediately. There's some dark energies here. Don't be so innocent. Yeah, don't be so innocent. Like, people fall in love, but yeah. Notice the red flags, if there is any. Like, don't proceed if you are not completely happy about what you have, what you see, what you feel. We will see the tarot cards also, but this is a gloomy story, so that's why I'm saying this. So, picture of your story, this is flickering. Picture of your story is this. Annoyingly, this makes this light. Okay. The robber bridegroom. There was once a miller who had a beautiful daughter, and when she was grown up, she became anxious that she should be well married and taken care of. So he thought, the miller, if a decent sort of man comes and asks her in marriage, I will give her to him. Soon after, a suitor came forward, who seemed very well to do, and as the miller knew nothing to his disadvantage, a little bit being the innocent father here, what is this? He promised him his daughter. But the girl did not seem to love him as a bride should love her bridegroom. She had no confidence in him. As often as she saw him or thought about him, she felt a chill at her heart. One day he said to her, "You are to be my bride, and yet you have never been to see me." The girl answered, "I do not know where your house is." Then he said, "My house is a long way in the wood." She began to make excuses and said she could not find a way to it. But the bridegroom said, "You must come and pay me a visit next Sunday. I have already invited company, and I will strew ashes on the path through the wood so that you will be sure to find it." Ashes, like a black road, gloomy. When Sunday came and the girl set out on her way, she felt very uneasy without knowing exactly why, and she filled both pockets full of peas and lentils. Yeah, there you go, like you are in these medieval times and you're like putting all this kind of bread or whatever on the road to find your way back. Where is it? Yes, he has this thing in the ground. So she went on the whole day until she came to the middle of the wood, where it was the darkest, and there stood a lonely house, not pleasant in her eyes, for it was dismal and unhomelike. She walked in, but there was no one there, and the greatest stillness reigned. Suddenly she heard a voice cry, turn back, thou pretty bride, within this house thou must not bide, for here do evil things betide." The girl gazed round and perceived that the voice came from a bird who was hanging in the cage by the wall, and again it cried, turn back, thou pretty bride, within this house thou must not bide, for here do evil things betide." Yes, I start to think about like a Jekyll and Hyde. I saw this old movie. Actually, I saw it from the which year is it? Like 60s or something? It was a color one. It's a very good one. But anyway, I start to think about that. Because there is this, Jekyll is kind of very studious and everything, but it's interesting. This movie is really interesting. I'm just thinking about this house. Then the pretty bride went on from one room into another, through the whole house, but it was quite empty, and no soul to be found in it. At last she reached the cellar, and there sat a very old woman nodding her head. "Can you tell me," said the bride, "if my bridegroom lives here?" "Oh, poor child," answered the old woman, "do you know what has happened to you? You are in a place of cutthroats. You thought you were bride, and soon to be married, but death will be your spouse. Look here, I have a great kettle of water to set on." This is like a chef here. Kettle of water to set on. "And when once they have you in their power, they will cut you in pieces without mercy, cook you and eat you, for they are cannibals. Unless I have pity on you and save you, all is over with you." Then the old woman hid her behind a great cask where she could not be seen. Okay, luckily the old woman is nice to her. "So, be as still as mouse," said she. "Do not move or go away, or else you are lost. At night when the robbers are asleep, we will escape, and I have been waiting a long time for an opportunity." So it's kind of like a capture to cook this woman as well. No sooner was it settled than the wicked gang entered the house. They brought another young woman with them, dragging her along, and they were drunk, and would not listen to her cries and groans. They gave her wine to drink, 3 glasses full, one of white wine and red, and one of yellow, and then they cut her in pieces. The poor bride, all the while shaking and trembling, when she saw what a fate the robbers had intended for her. One of them noticed on the little finger of their victim a golden ring, and as he could not draw it off easily, he took an axe and chopped it off. But the finger jumped away and fell behind the cask on the bride's lap. The robber took up a light to look for it, but he could not find it. Then said one of others, "Have you looked behind the great cask?" But the old woman cried, "Come to supper, and leave off looking till tomorrow. The finger cannot run away." Then the robbers said the old woman was right, and they left off searching and sat down to eat. And the old woman dropped some sleeping stuff into their wine, so that before long they stretched themselves on the cellar floor, sleeping and snoring. When the bride heard that, she came from behind the cask and had to make her way among the sleepers lying all around the ground, and she felt very much afraid lest she might awaken any of them. But by the good luck she passed through, and the old woman with her, and they opened the door, and they made all haste to leave that house of murderers. The wind had carried away the ashes from the pot, but the peas and lentils had budded and sprung up, and the moonshine upon them showed the way. And they went on through the night, till in the morning they reached the mill. Then the girl related to her father all what had happened to her. When the wedding day came, the friends and neighbors assembled. So eventually they end up storytelling, and they ask this bride to tell a story before they're actually married. I think, interestingly, the stories, they always eat before the Grimm story. They eat before they get married, the full belly. And so now, sweetheart, do you know story? Tell us something, asked this bridegroom, the robber bridegroom, who is evil man. She answered, "I will tell you my dream. I was going alone through a wood and came at last to a house in which there was no living soul. But by the wall was a bird in a cage who cried, 'Turn back, too pretty bride. Within this house thou must not buy, for evil things do here betide.' And then again it said, 'Sweetheart, the dream is not ended.' Then I went through all the rooms, and they were all empty, and it was so lonely and wretched. At last I went down into the cellar, and there sat an old woman, nodding her head. I asked if my bridegroom lived in that house, and she answered, 'Ah, poor child, you have come into the place of cutthroats. Your bridegroom does live here, but he will kill you and cut you in pieces, and then cook and eat you. Sweetheart, the dream is not ended.' But the old woman hid me behind a cask, and no sooner had she done so than the robbers came home, dragging with them a young woman, and they gave her to drink wine thrice, white, red, and yellow. 'Sweetheart, the dream is not yet ended.' And then they killed her and cut her in pieces. 'Sweetheart, my dream is not yet ended.' And one of the robbers saw a gold ring on the finger of the young woman, and as it was difficult to get off, he took an axe and chopped off the finger, which jumped upwards and then fell behind the great cask on my lap. And here is the finger with the ring." At these words she drew it forth and showed it to the company. The robber, who during the story had grown deadly white, sprang up and would have escaped, but the folks held him fast and delivered him to the justice, and he and his whole gang were for the evil deeds condemned and executed. Okay, here we have this picture. Okay, this is really like the light makes it like that. Anyway, this was your story. Really read it like all about. Who is falling in love here? It's just happening bad things here. So we will find out anyway. What is good about that? So the village was stressed of the prosperity. Maybe there is something about the kingdom that it has to be kept safe before that love can happen. Like the rabbit has to be protected. The rabbits are, nature of them are that they can die in the thunderstorm. They can get so scared. So, okay, let's see the planet. The planet is Pluto. That's a dark planet. The need for control, an obsession with a power struggle. So that is actually also this kind of negative energy. The Pluto is all about like absolute right way. Dictators and underworld is having this absolute power. like what is right. Like somebody tells you, like this kind of leaders, like that's right and that's wrong. Like it's kind of bad to really go to absolutes. Striving for absolute perfection is really a perversion of us to strive to the absolute. So indeed, in even the creative sense, this is actually feedback to you when you are doing this kind of top of this food. Like if you are really perfectionist cooking a meal and something, like you don't let this free play happen. You are like, this is a recipe, this is how it's done, and there's no like a way to do it differently. There's something about that here now, relationship wise. Like somebody is totally perfectionist. It's not trusting the person. Maybe there's bad experiences about being innocent. Anyway, what is the angel here? Indecision. Fretier. Okay, anyway, I have not the booklet to read this, so I have promised to take one card from this herbal astrology oracle. And actually, before we do that, I have to take your tarot cards. We have so been going on now with this reading that I have to actually speed up. We are gonna take your tarot cards. These. Love life of 3. Ui, this came like that. And this. Some dark energies, because here is also Page of Wands upside down. Anyway, let's see. So 2 of Wands, somebody is climbing. But this 2 of Wands is usually like making a choice. 10 of Swords, but that's like able to handle this kind of mind hurting things that can be like a bad beliefs. This is like a positive. Ace of Swords. A lot of mental power here. Then we have this negative, this Page of Wands. So new journey is not starting. Somebody is very like hesitant. It's almost like becomes a sword. This would be a wand. That is kind of like a fire. This becomes like a something not taking action. And then Pluto territory. And then we have 5 of Swords, but that's like a positive. You have had some fights or some struggles and you are overcoming those. I'm going to now, where is the booklet? Let's verify what is this 10 of Swords, because this is a choice. Okay, let's see in order. There are all a lot of sword. This is wand energy, this is wand energy, and then we have all the other is sword. Relationship wise, I see a lot of mental thing happening, but not so much like a loving cup energy is absent. Then we have the Pluto here, is also the dark absolute powers. So some yeah, that's positive. What is happening to the climber? Going beyond the horizon of the known is very useful and will bring great success. You have the opportunity to change your future, starting today with resourcefulness and new knowledge, renewing friends and ideas. Figure out what talents you have and take them to the highest level. Talks about this creative power that you have to master a skill and take it to the highest level. I am. Everything starts in the being. Think you should grow that talent of yours, whatever it is. Focus. 10 of Swords. I think this talk about self-love a lot. In fairy tale, often, if this has like this rubber bridegroom, all the story elements can be the person itself. So now think about back this rubber bridegroom. It can be all yourself. If you see that story, like somebody is negatively influencing your commitments. like killing your dreams, or what you would like to do, chopping the finger of the commitment, like not letting things to happen, like the marriage was kind of commitment. This is celebration also. Celebrate pleasure, celebrate your skills and your talents to be this creative genius. Ten of Swords, positive. Yes. After the hard battles and the sorrowful times, there are always better days. Cycles of planting, of renewal, of new bonds made with unexpected people. You will be ready to change the future for the better, to dream it different from the past. Hope, new light, and clear intentions are favored in you and in those you love. That's nice. It's kind of like hardships coming to an end. Ace of Swords is always powerful new beginning, and this is like a words, some powerful manifestation things happening. This was also manifestation I mentioned in the beginning. So you have one of those pointing out that you have to use your words. Maybe you have to write something, maybe you have to speak something. I think I have to read here even. I'm just afraid at the moment, I hope I have memory enough. I mean, not memory, like a battery enough that this doesn't cut. Ace of Swords, positive. You could become the paladin or sage you have always yearned to be. This is only achievable by overcoming personal limitations and showing character, reason, and ability to speak intelligently. Victory awaits you, but with it may come new challenges and unexpected events. Be prepared. And then we had this one negative, Page of Wands. Page is always like a teenager energy, so somebody, there's something, let's read here because it's negative. You need less aggression and more thoughtfulness. Be wary of people who say they are helping but may give you a bad advice even though they act in good faith. Your energy is low, especially in love or in family affections, so don't be surprised if you accomplish little in this area. You will recover the energy that you inauspiciously spent. Okay, you have spent your energy now, something that was not sourceful, not fruitful. And the happiness, you are aiming for it, but you have to try again or something, or like find a new way. Find a new way, because it's usually a new journey. When you turn it like that, it's a new way to do things. You want to be it like this. And then, and it's next to this, it's like this is not Ace of Wands. This is Page of Wands. So to build this kind of like a tent of the celebration, you had here Two of Wands. So practically your Four of Wands is now, I mean the sword is not a wand, but let's say you have 3 out of 4 and they are not in the most powerful position. So you have to put your passion and your spirit into things. Restore. Building energy is needed here. Possible relationship-wise also building. Maybe you are not decisive. You need to focus and be decisive. And then we have 5 of Swords. We have 5 of Swords. But that's positive. The war is over and you have won. Now you should seek peace. The emotional peace and condition of serenity with other people, even if they were your enemies. Fight your inclination to confront or enflame the situation. In a resulting escalation, you could suffer serious injuries. It's not every time you have to like confront. I'm a kind of person who likes to confront, but indeed sometimes you have to just like seek peace in the sense like you don't react. You rest your case. And then we have I think I have to take your herbal astrology advice now. So you had indecision here, the angel. So this is gonna be for pile number 3 now. Advice. Let's have this crystal. Okay, this is for you. Passion flower 43. Surrender. Interesting ovals here, very mental also. Interesting. Sacrifice, surrender, choosing growth, trusting, discernment, rituals of letting go. Neptune and Moon would be the energy, and we have this Pluto here also. And this is like a power struggle. I was warning about that. And need to control and obsession. Yeah, let those things go. You don't need to obsess about anything. Passion is what you need. One's energy here. Passion is the way to go. Passion flower, a precious botanical native to Central and South America, was named for Passion of Christ, referring to his suffering and death by Roman Catholic priest in the 1500s, the medieval. It was also called La Flor de las Cinco Llagas, or the flower of the 5 wounds, referring to Christ's stigmata. Here we have this 5 sword, Christ's stigmata. Interesting connection. That's why it's beautiful to do the readings. It's coming like interesting connections here. The 5 petals and 5 petal-like sepals of this flower represent the 10 apostles who remained faithful to Jesus throughout the Passion. The circle of hair-like rays above the petals represent Jesus' crown of thorns. Since its introduction into European herbal medicine, passion flower has been used as an antispasmodic, hypnotic, anodyne, anxiolytic, sedative, and nervous system tonic. The leaf tea became popular in North American medicine in the mid of 1800. It's like a Victorian time. Passion flower tea. Passion flowers tranquilizes edgy nerves and helps with insomnia, mood disorders, headaches, colic, migraines, menstrual cramps, diarrhea, neuralgia, eye disorders, epilepsy and convulsions, and muscle spasm and pain. To this day, passion flower is used by many shamans in floral baths to calm and cleanse the spirit. Passion flower is considered as a bridge to Christ consciousness, which assists in direct communication with the mythical voice within. It was also used as an incense to alter the energy of spaces that were stressed, traumatized, or disrupted. Passion flower is ruled by the mighty powers of Neptune, the planet of spiritual realization, religious experiences, the spirit world, and Maya, the great illusion. Guidance. Passion flower symbolizes surrender, sacrifice, and the crucifixion of the ego. Passion flower resembles the need to sacrifice in order to make space and move forward. The all-seeing double-headed oval symbolizes the great understanding perceived from both sides, whether it be upside down or inside out, and bestows goddess passion flower with unseen truths as she performs ritual for letting go. Indeed, we've been talking already about letting go in this reading. I find it very fitting. Oval is symbolic of discernment and able to light up what needs to be seen. Passion flower today might reflect the need to suspend action that aren't aligned to your spiritual path. Are these certain decisions or action you made that you must sacrifice in order to reassess your direction? Honor your intuition. It's okay if projects or original ideas come to an unexpected halt. Discernment is key to experience greater truth and opportunities. Very fitting to this kind of dark Pluto energy. Like, you can find a better way. If this was not the best way to do it, there is a better way. And passion flower will give you a Christ consciousness. So that's something that will bring you that manifestation moment, most likely. Also with the 4 of Wands here, like a gate. Okay, I think I end your readings here. I have to get going also, I have things to do. So I think, what else I can say? I'm glad if you saw this reading. I'm very happy if you comment something. I always want to answer if I can. And in my opinion, I want to keep these readings live. So the quality of the Facebook Live might be not the best like quality of video, but I prefer that there's this interaction moment. And I will see how I do. Do I show my face or do I do it interactively like this? But I think there is a lot of value to seeing the cards. Even the screen might be sometimes not the most sharp. I think it's still value to see these cards really on the table as I see them. So I thank you and I wish you a very happy weekend and a lot of love in your life. Maybe I do one little thing for you that, because this was not having so much love. Let's have one more. So it's innocent and I am very self-centered things, but not anything with the person. Let's see one more feeling card. Is there something? Heartbreak. Okay. So it goes back to this kind of negative energy that you have to let go. Sadness, grieving, mourning, loss, separation, regrets, crying. Intense feelings, broken, alone and lonely. So the Pluto energy is clearly here. And your advice is this passion flower is to surrender and learn from this heartbreak. Learn from this grief. Because it gives you, I posted something on my Facebook page just before this reading about how grief is good if you really take the lessons from it. So the depth it serves also. Don't think the negative feelings are bad. They are always messengers also that you can learn something from. Okay, I end my reading here and bye.